Villagers cannot contain their joy at the sight of these earth-moving vehicles mowing down trees and clearing the road leading to the airport site. The leader of the landowners for Abia State Airport, Nsulu, and chairman of the Memorandum of Agreement Committee, Ozazubike, is pleased that Governor Alex Oti listened to their plea to reduce the size of the land from the initial 1,800 hectares to 1,000 hectares.
We ask God to bless him, if not for any other reason, for the fact that he remembered the Nsulu people and honored us with this. Today, there is nobody anywhere in the world that listens to the electronic, mass, or print media that does not know the Nsulu people. They have firmly planted us on the map of the world. We are grateful.
Speaking at the site in Omalo, Nsulu, Isialanga North, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Caleb Ajaba, says the government of Alex Oti has shown sincerity of purpose in partnering the federal government for the project, as well as paying compensations to the landowners.
We can see our people joy. Everybody is happy because transparency is what re-engineers trust, and that's one thing that you can't take for granted in the administration of His Excellency. That tells you that every grey areas have already been sorted, and whatever is left will also be amicably addressed.
This is something that has never happened in Abia State before, and thank God for His Excellency who deemed it, good to have this type of project.
Some of the villagers have these to say.
We promise to support government for the project, and they promise to secure all the materials for the project.
Let me know, at what point did this disagreement between your people and government, at what point did it start? Because I understand that there's this, people say that they have not received their money, others say they have received, but that what the government, they agreed with the government is that before they move over to the next point at the site, they must pay compensation to these people. So, but at what point did this disagreement with your people and government start?
Thank you very much. I think it's the disagreement started when government deviated from the laid out procedures that government itself, enunciated. Government says this will happen first, this will happen second, this will happen third, along that line. So you expect that, when the first thing happens, then this next thing, will happen. But that is not what is going on. The point is that, first of all, let me clear this idea or this false notion, this misinformation that the group led by me are opposing the establishment of the airport, in Nsulu. That is absolute lie. We have, all of us, including every other person today, we have agreed, that we want the airport.
Okay.
Now, where there are disagreements, is that fine. Give us the map of the land, the extent of land you have taken. We have a right under the law to engage our own estate agents or estate surveyors. We have a right to engage our own land surveyors. Now, if you say, for example, we mounted pressure, that the land being acquired, is just too much,
okay,
and that it needs to be reduced. We mounted this pressure when it was 1,830 hectares or thereabout. It was brought down to 1,350 or thereabout. Then, immediately that was done, the government said they were going to do enumeration.
Okay.
And we said, and meanwhile, they have come onto the land. They traced the first tracing, they did the second tracing, and they are now, I think, doing the third one or the fourth one. But before that is, before that could be done, they are talking about payment. So which one are you doing? If you have done the first tracing, and you reduce it to 1,300, and now you are saying you have reduced it to 1,025. On what basis are you doing the tracing? Are you tracing on 1,800 and something? Are you tracing on 1,300 and something? Are you tracing on 1,025 hectares? That is the problem. So they brought in confusion into the whole thing. They brought in the confusion. Otherwise, things would have gone so smoothly. Now, why do you introduce confusion? Because there are interests that have invaded this whole thing. There are private interests that are now interested in making money out of the whole thing. We are not interested in making money out of it. We want to protect the interests of our villagers, our people who are illiterate, who didn't go to school, who don't know what government is doing. It is their interest we're trying to protect. We are not against the government. We are not against the airport. But the unfortunate thing is that, the moment private interests, begin to rear its ugly head, corruption steps in.
Okay, so some people said, yes, that they agreed with the government if actually you said the enumeration was not done and they're talking about payment and all that, so where are they now by your own assessment?
Now, we are in a situation of utter confusion. You see, it doesn't pay to tell lies. If government comes to, if the chief of staff, for example, comes to address our people in our village, our people take it, that the governor has addressed them. And therefore, the governor is not going to tell them lies or deceive them. But when the chief of staff comes, addresses them, and they agree, and he goes back and, does a different thing, then people begin to query the legit, the seriousness or the...
Okay. So, the chief of staff meets with the real landowners?
Yes.
Okay.
On January 3rd, I convened a meeting after I was arrested. Even the commissioner of police, Abia State, he's still here. He advised me to find the way out of this thing, I said, okay, our people who are the children of these landowners are coming home. So let us go and meet them. Let the government come and meet them instead of going to talk to politicians and their party people. I wrote a letter inviting the government through the chief of staff. I also, invited the commissioner of police. I also invited the director of SSS. All of them came to a meeting at Nsulu Town Hall on the 3rd of January. It was after this meeting that the the chief of staff called me and said, "Hey Max, organize a meeting." And we organized a meeting. I gave him a date. He rejected, he said that date wasn't proper for him. So he gave me his own date. We accepted. I gave him a list of delegates. He requested the names of the persons who were going to come for the meeting so that he would place them, he would clear them at the gate and all that, So I gave him a list and told him who was leading the team. But unfortunately, he had already made up his mind on whom he wants to lead the team.
Who now?
Uzazubike.
Okay.
Now, in that meeting of 3rd of January in Umwezuku, Uzazubike openly addressing the chief of staff, he said, with proper arrangement, Satan will see God. So we understood what was going on. Now, why would the chief of staff, prefer Uzazubike to the person that I gave him to be the leader of the team?
But Uzazubike is a landowner there as well.
He is a landowner, from what he says. He is a landowner.
So are you saying that he's not capable of leading that or interfacing with government?
No. That is not the issue. We have a group.
Okay.
And this group, determines what we do collectively. So, and I am the leader of the group.
Okay.
Mind you, it was Uzazubike himself who nominated me to be the leader. And in a group of 140-something members, nobody opposed. So I was unanimously, asked to lead this team. And it was Uzazubike who nominated me. He says it himself. Now, the problem is that, personal interests, invaded this thing.
When you say personal interest, because I asked the same question, if anybody has personal political interest or whatever, the allegations there, just like you said initially, is that you have a personal misunderstanding with the governor and you're allowing it to, to block what is going on in Nsulu.
Did I say that?
No. That's what people say.
Okay, yeah, that is correct. That is what people say.
Yeah.
And I think that is the reason why the chief of staff doesn't want to deal with me. That is the only reason. But the fact remains that, I worked with the governor for 2.5 years and I was with him. We were literally buddies, After the election in 2019, I went to him to say that I am no longer interested in partisan politics. And this was how we went and set up, the Ukwalangwa Council of Elders, which is apolitical. The point is true, is that, during the elections, I did not support Dr. Alex Oti. But that is politics. It has nothing to do with personal relationships. I did not support my own brother, Okeze Ikpeazu. I did not support him. I supported Alex Oti in place of Okeze Ikpeazu. That is politics. It has nothing to do with personal relationships. Once the politics is over, every other thing like that, goes over. Alex Oti is the governor today. He is my governor. I accept him as my governor. So why would I oppose him as governor? In what way can I oppose him, really? I'm not a member of the House of Assembly. I'm not a commissioner. I'm nothing. I'm just a retired old villager, So in what way can I oppose him? People simply want to give a dog a bad name in order to hang it. There is no reason to say that, the group I lead, is opposed to the airport. There's nothing like that.
Okay, so as it stands now, is there any court action stopping government from going ahead from that project?
All of us were together, including Uzazubike. The lawyer who filed the action, is Nsulu Abia case lawyer. They're all in the same chambers. He's introduced him to us. Even the amount, to be paid to the lawyer, he determined it himself and asked me to authorize payment, and I did. But when Nsulu Abia changed sides, our lawyer also changed sides. And we had to go and debrief him. We had to go and, sorry.
Okay, I understand.
Relieve him of, the duties of representing us. Okay. So there is a court order because he obtained an ex parte order. The judge made it clear on the face of the order made by the judge. A government lawyer was in court on that day, and the judge made it a duty for the government lawyer to ensure that the government side was served, because the judge insisted that all the parties should be put on notice. Now the parties were put on notice through this lawyer, who is a government lawyer, Ministry of Justice lawyer. Now you remember too that there were strikes in the judiciary during this period. So the order, as far as we are concerned, has not been vacated
up to this moment.
Up to as I speak, you don't vacate order in secret. You have to come in court and raise issues, which the judge would appreciate and decide, that the order is vacated. The order has not been vacated. The last time they were in court, this lawyer who has shifted grounds, to side the government, informed the judge that the parties are negotiating. So, and the government lawyer said he didn't know that, but if the parties are negotiating, that he wasn't going to oppose it. So the court says, okay, continue to negotiate. Now, the next time we are going to go to court, we will now tell the court, whether that negotiation is successful or not. But as I speak with you today, no, the order of that court has not been vacated.
So, but are you aware that work has started at the site?
Yes, I am aware. And that is why we say that, it's a breach of the court order. It's a breach of the court order.
Just like you said you people are now at the point of confusion. You don't even know. Is there any way you can wriggle out of this confusion you said that you found yourself? Because, going back and forth, this person said you didn't follow the due process. This person said you followed the due process. If we continue like this, we'll just be going around in circles. At the end of the day, nothing happens. Don't forget that this is a federal government project. And if we continue with this disagreement, federal government will say, okay, we are no longer interested, we are pulling out and all that. Everybody will become a loser.
A loser.
So how can we address this particular issue? Let's assume the governor invites you now. Will you oblige him, and what will you tell him?
Thank you very much. I was on a program last week on a sister station, and about this same question was posed to me. First of all, I am of the full conviction, that the governor is not in the knowledge of the actual facts on ground. Because I know the governor, I worked with him. If he knows the mago that is going on there, he will not approve it.
Who is doing this mago?
Well, the people, call it civil servants, call it, you see, the government hired some, what they call consultants. Many of them are from Rivers State, about 7 of them. Now, these are the people who are introducing confusion into this whole thing. And then there are people who want to grab land too within the whole thing, So that brings the confusion, that brings the corruption we're talking about. If the governor, I am very sure, if the governor knows exactly what is going on, he will not approve it. So I have said it again, I said in the other station, I said, we are prepared to invite the governor to a town hall meeting where he meets the landowners, where he listens to them, and where he addresses them. I am pretty certain that after this town hall meeting, the governor will resolve the issues within 1 week. I am pretty certain of that.
Everybody will be at peace.
Everybody will be at peace. The problem is the confusion, introduced into the whole thing.
You're very close to the governor. So why are you not picking your call to make a call? Call the governor. Maybe talk to him and he will listen to you. He's your man.
The governor is my man, but he's now, when he was my man, he wasn't governor. Now he is governor. There are protocols surrounding him now that wasn't so when I was with him.
Are you saying that if you call him, he will not take your calls?
I haven't called him since then.
So, you should be able to call him.
Fine, that is also an advice, that I do not reject.
So, are you promising the people that you're going to call the governor to see a way to resolve this particular issue? Because if you continue like this, it's only when you do not have access to the governor or somebody that is far away from the governor. You've worked with him. You were his campaign DJ at some point. So you have a close relationship. You can as well call him and tell him, look at what the problems we are facing. maybe he will listen to you. You don't think so?
I think so. I think so. I have said it myself. I've said it a couple of weeks ago. That we will organize a town hall meeting. Let him come in person and look at the landowners. Talk with them. You see, the problem is that we have a system whereby confusion has been introduced. Now, if you are doing enumeration on 1,350 and you have finished enumeration, then you come back again and say you have reduced it to 1,025. And you're also doing another enumeration. The first people you enumerated are expecting their payment. Would they?
Nobody has received. Is that what you're saying? Nobody has received their pay?
As you see, the agreement, when the day the chief of staff came, that is where there is trouble now. The day the chief of staff came to Umuala, he told Umuala people, give us a small place where we can open an access road to the airport.
Yes.
Now, the people gave him, access, a small space. But the point now is that they have gone beyond that, into other people's land as they are, opening the road.
Those people that they've gone into their land, have they paid their compensation?
They have not been paid. That is why there is problem. That is why the people are complaining. That is why they are protesting. How can you come onto our land, destroy our crops and all that, and you haven't paid us a penny? This is a problem. And I know that governor will not allow that to happen. He's not that kind of person.
Like I said, what's the way forward? Because this thing has to end and end soon.
The way forward is for the governor to get directly involved. But because I believe that his workers are not telling him the truth. That is what I believe. Knowing Dr. Alex Oti, I know that if he knows the truth, he will not permit what is going on.
He has a chief of staff who is the leader of government.
Unfortunately, the chief of staff is neither a politician, he doesn't understand politics, and he's neither, how do I say it, an administrator. So okay, how can a chief of staff come to his own people and tell them, because they were protesting, and they say, I'm not going to pay you compensation, I can seize your compensation, that kind of thing. Is that the way to talk to the chief of staff? He is the person complicating the whole thing. He's not an intellectual. He's not an administrator. He's not a politician. He hired politicians. People like Uzazubike will help him, and they're leading him, to a clean the sack. If you say you're not going to talk to us, the landowners, when you come to my village, where I own land, who are you going to talk to? Are you going to talk to Uzazubike?
No, but he is also a landowner.
In his own village, not in my own village.
Okay.
Uzazubike is a landowner in his own village.
Is his village not part of the airport project site as well?
No, look, right now, the whole thing has zeroed to a runway. And the runway is exactly in Umoma in Tambausi.
That should be your place.
That is my place.
Okay.
No other place is involved. The runway is exactly from Umuala, where that opening is done, straight to our own lands. So nobody, the chief of staff forms committees and asks us, the landowners, to come and join his own committee. Where is it done? How can I come and join the committee of formed by the chief of staff to negotiate with myself? What kind of argument is that? Form your own committees. We will form our own committees. We will meet on the negotiating table and we discuss. But you keep on forming committees, MOU this, so somebody is going to write MOU for my own community. The interest, the interest of a particular village is not contaminous with the interest of my own village. We have our own things, that we will want government to do for us. And government will also have what it proposes to do for us. Then we will discuss it. So Uzazubike is not going to come to my village to tell us, what to do. He will do that in his own village. Every community stands alone. So now that the chief of staff doesn't want to talk to us, now the runway has been placed in my own village. He will be forced to talk to us. And that is what he has been trying to avoid.
But work has already commenced, even at the runway. It has commenced already.
Work has commenced, yes. It has not reached to a point where people who have not been paid, are protesting. I know that I was told, that they did not work last week. Yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't know, because people were protesting. I don't know.
Okay.
We are not stopping the progress of this work. Let people know that. Let people understand that. We are not. We are simply saying, do the right things. That's all. Okay. When the first protest, started last year, the chief of staff openly addressed the Nsulu people and said, whatever protest letter you write will end on my table. It is what I want the governor to see that the governor will see. Ask anybody.
He said that?
He said that openly to people. If you leave this thing open now and there are people listening, those who participated in that meeting will call in and confirm that that was what he said. He doesn't understand how to approach people. He thinks that, carrying police and army and invading our communities, is the best way to go about it.
Today, let's assume that everybody concerned gets their compensation. Would there be peace?
Of course there will be peace.
So the issue now is compensation, not about enumeration, not about you invaded my area and all
Before
that.
you pay compensation, right?
You
have to determine the land that you have taken. The owners of the land, will be identified. Now, the so-called enumeration you have done does not identify anybody as owner of land. It makes it difficult to pay compensation, because when you went to, when you invaded people's land and the people were not there, other people stood on other people's land and claimed that it was theirs, and they were enumerated, and that is creating problems.
Dr. Marks,
sir,
I've said this repeatedly. You just have to maybe see a way to resolve this particular issue. This finger pointing and all that will not solve any problem. Are you promising Abians you're going to call the governor to resolve this once again?
If that is the solution, I will do it.
Okay.
So I will.
Abians will hold you by your words.
Let them hold me to my words. I will call the governor and invite him.
Okay. All right. Sincere thanks to you, Dr. Max Ndwagi, the elder statesman, and also an indigene of Nsulu, the airport project site. Thank you so much, Dr. Max Ndwagi, for coming on the show. We do appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.